KIDO Talk Radio, Kevin Miller in the morning. Let's go out to Judge Jeanine Pirro joining us now. Liars, leakers, and liberals, the case against the anti-Trump conspiracy on KIDO Talk Radio. Judge, welcome to Idaho.
Well, thank you. It sounds like it's pretty hot out there.
Very hot, ma'am, and lots of fires. Certainly.
I'm sorry about that. Yeah.
We appreciate you standing up for conservatism and our president. Let's talk a little bit about your new project, Liars, Leakers, and Liberals. Why do they want to take down Donald Trump?
Well, I think that anyone who's the tip of the spear is going to get tremendous pushback, but never in American history have we ever seen the kind of pushback that has, shown itself to be an effort on the part of the deep state within the intelligence community, the FBI, and the Department of Justice to frame an incoming president with a Russia collusion investigation. Look, we knew that when Donald Trump was running against Hillary Clinton in 2016, that the Department of Justice and FBI did everything they could to drag a flawed, corrupt candidate across the presidential finish line, that being Hillary Clinton. And then, as an insurance policy, as Peter Strzok definitely said in his emails, that they would tee up through the intelligence community a Russia collusion investigation that is intended to disenfranchise the American voters and the man that they put into the Oval Office. And that is something that we have never seen in American history. And what Americans want now, and what Americans wanted when they elected Donald Trump, was an outsider to drain the swamp. And it's not an easy thing to do. And as someone like myself, as I look at this as a prosecutor, a judge, and a DA, I know a con when I see it. And when you've got the Department of Justice and the FBI inserting itself in a presidential election to sway it one way and not even do a real investigation of Hillary Clinton in an effort to frame Donald Trump, then we've got a real problem. It's like a third world country, and that's why I wrote the book, Liars, Leakers, and Liberals.
As someone who has dedicated her life to justice and law enforcement, how dangerous is this? And are we, as you just said, are we Venezuela? Are we a banana republic when we have institutions that we've trusted to take care of us and protect us being used against a rightfully elected president?
Well, it's interesting we say, are we like Venezuela? Are we headed in that direction? It sounds absurd, Kevin, but at the same time, there are socialist candidates who are being elected across this country. In fact, Bernie Sanders, who almost got the Democratic nomination, but for Hillary Clinton's rigging it, he considers himself a socialist. So, there is an effort to move this country so far left by George Soros and those forces and Antifa and the rest of them. But I think even more significant is the fact that the corruption and the deep state that I talk about in the book is something that is real. And it was evidenced by the emails of Peter Strzok and his girlfriend Lisa Page and the FBI. It's evidenced by James Comey as the head of the FBI coming out and saying we're not going to prosecute Hillary Clinton. That's not his job. He's the cop, not the DA. And Loretta Lynch had already, made herself someone who couldn't be objective by meeting with the husband of a candidate she was allegedly investigating in a criminal investigation for over a year, where there were no search warrants, no grand juries, no subpoenas, and they handed out immunity like they were lollipops without a requirement that anyone give testimony. That's where we are, and that's why the Americans instinctively understood that we needed an outsider. We needed someone like Donald Trump, who's beholden to no one, who is a man who could be out playing golf for the rest of his life if he wanted to. But that's why we elected him, because we knew something was wrong in Washington. People go to Washington of mediocre means and they come out multimillionaires. Their families. American people are working hard, but I've known Donald Trump for 30 years, and I write about the Donald Trump that I know in the book. There's a man who is a force of nature. He will, go into a den of lions and come out with a suit and tie straight and a lion's head to put on the library wall. He is a man who doesn't stop working, and it's evidenced by the economy. We've got more jobs than we have people to fill them. ISIS caliphate is destroyed. Tax cuts. GDP is going to be coming out over 4% when the Obama administration told us 1 was the new normal. You know, this is making America great again, and that's why I wrote the book.
Liars, Leakers, and Liberals, the case against the anti-Trump conspiracy. Let's talk about the leakers and how they've tried to undermine the president, Judge.
Well, you know, it's interesting. James Comey, in his testimony before Congress and in his own notes, says he told the president, "I'm not a leaker, I'm not a weasel." Those are his own notes. And turns out he's been leaking for some time now. He leaked to his friend Dan, I think it's Richmond, who is a professor, and he leaked to him, he says, to get out into the public square information about Donald Trump. Well, here's the thing about Jim Comey. First of all, the people in the FBI who were wonderful people that I've worked with for over 3 decades as a sitting DA, these are great men and women, except that they called Jim Comey Cardinal Comey behind his back because he's got this holier than thou. I am sanctimonious. I am a wonderful human being, and they call him Cardinal. But what Jim Comey did was he was leaking information when he, as the head of the FBI, could have investigated Donald Trump if he wanted to. He ran the chief law enforcement agency in the nation. So now he's got to leak it once he gets fired to start an investigation. If you look, Kevin, at any of this stuff objectively, you see that their ideology has interfered with, their ability to do the job. And he is the worst FBI director since J. Edgar Hoover, probably even worse, because when you insert politics, and Lady Justice is supposed to be blind, then we've got a banana republic. It's their friends, their choices, and the rest of us don't matter. And as they say, we can just cling to God, religion, and our guns. And I talk about it in the book, and I say, I plead guilty, proudly guilty, in fact. And that's what Americans want. They want the ability to take care of their families, the ability to be safe, and to have some peace and prosperity. And that's what Donald Trump is doing. And every day he gets the pushback, and every day he continues to fight. And we need to make sure that, when people come at you, as they did with me when I was on The View with Whoopi Goldberg, to shut us down, that is an example of what's going on everywhere across the intolerance of the right. Free speech stays be damned to them. But we've got to stand up and be strong in our efforts to support, God, country, and religion. When I was a judge, over my bench, it would say, "In God we trust," and no one's going to take that away from me.
Judge Jeanine Pirro, we've got a couple more minutes, and then we've got to let her go. We know she's very busy. Author of the new book, Liars, Leakers, and Liberals, here at KIDO Talk Radio. Judge, what about, you bring this up when you're saying how they take it personally, you and Whoopi Goldberg going at it, but whether it's Whoopi Goldberg or Chuck Todd or any members of the media elite, they have it seems that they have a personal animus against Donald Trump and anything that he does.
Well, look, the fourth estate is almost considered a balance, to the 3 branches of government. It is an effort to, kind of look at every other branch objectively, not that it is a branch, but they have shown their bias from, before Donald Trump took office. Look, in my book, Liars and Leakers, I have a chapter devoted to the fact that Donald Trump was called upon to be on television shows, cameos in movies, to get a quote for newspapers, radio. He was with sports icons, celebrities. They loved him. And then he had the nerve to run for president with an R after his name. And then he turned into the devil incarnate to them. And then they were on a mission because he's not part of the establishment. He's not part of the one hand washes the other. He doesn't have anything that he needs to be, to cover up the way they do in Washington. And in the book, I talk about the fact that it's not the Republicans versus the Democrats anymore. It's the Swamp Party versus the People's Party versus a populist party versus Donald Trump. And, so they will, look, when you have a Brian Ross, you talk about the press, he's an investigative reporter for ABC. When he is so clouded by his hatred of Donald Trump that he can't even look at the facts anymore. That he says Michael Flynn is going to testify against Donald Trump, that Donald Trump made him contact the Russians before the election when it was a lie, and even ABC knew it was a lie. But, had Trump not pushed back, they would have gone with the story continuously. He had to apologize. It was wrong. But they do it all the time. And I'll tell you, their animus is even more peaked because Donald Trump took on the fake media. And, everyone said that's suicide. You cannot take on the media. Donald Trump instinctively knew to take him on, and he won. And he checkmated them. And it is an example of what the American people were looking for. Someone to keep them honest, the press, and someone to make sure that person is fighting for us.
Judge, final thought. Michael Cohen releasing tapes, isn't that a violation of attorney-client privilege?
Well, there is a privilege there. The question is whether or not, it is subject to a crime exception, or whether or not, the president has not objected to the release of that information. It is a sad commentary on what's going on today in terms of the media, that they would seize that kind of information, leak it to CNN, and then the president said, well, I'm not going to object to it. It's a one-party state where all you need is one side's permission. But attorney-client privilege is supposed to be sacrosanct. Apparently it's not to Michael Cohen.
Well, Judge, we love you. We appreciate your fighting for us. And liars, leakers, and liberals, safe travels, and we'd love to see you in Idaho sometime.
Oh, I love Idaho. Thank you so much, and thanks to your listeners. Take care.
Take care. All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. There we have it. Great job, Ray Amaya, getting Judge Jeanine Pirro joining us now, Liars, Leakers, and Liberals. If you miss any of that interview, you can go to KIDOTalkRadio.com after 10 o'clock today, and you can listen to the podcast. Coming up next, we'll listen to the Michael Cohen tapes and get your thoughts on, what's next for the president. Phone numbers, 580-5436, 580-KIDO. You're listening to 107.5 FM, 580 AM, KIDO Talk Radio. If you'd like to react to Judge Jeanine Pirro, phone numbers 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Last night, CNN released the Michael Cohen tapes. Here it is with the President of the United States. We will have that for you coming up as well. And we'll get your reaction to this. Whatever happened to attorney-client privilege? Really, whatever happened to Michael Cohen having any type of credibility? Supposedly he was the president's fixer and he wanted to do these things. If you're a lawyer, you don't release these things, right? But again, who knows with the deep state? And then you have people making all these allegations, and we would love for the judge to have expanded on just the media bias when you have people, Michelle Goldberg, as we discussed yesterday from the New York Times, saying that she should, that the president is being handled by Vladimir Putin. Just unsubstantiated allegations that really are designed to motivate the non-thinkers, right? The UMs, the UIs, the useful idiots. Let's go to the tape. By the way, you're listening to 107.5 FM, 580 AM. Kevin Miller in the morning, and then your phone calls.
Let me know what's happening, okay? Oh.
Now, again, what you're listening to is an exclusive meeting with Michael Cohen and Donald Trump, courtesy CNN.
Maybe because of this, it would be better if you didn't go. Maybe because of this, for that one. I think what we should do is get rid of this because it's so false what they're saying. It's such bullshit. I think this goes away quickly. I think it's probably better. Do the Charleston thing. Just this time. Yeah. In 2 weeks it's fine. I think right now it's better. Okay, honey. You take care of yourself. Thanks, Dan. Yeah, I'm proud of you. So long. Bye. What's up, Mike?
Great poll, by the way. Seen it. Great poll.
Making progress.
Big time.
And you guys are good guy.
Oh, Pastor Scott?
No, Pastor Scott. What's happening?
Oh, no.
Can we use him anymore?
Oh, yeah. 100. No, you're talking about Mark Burns. We've told him
Well, I don't mean that. Mark Burns, can we use him
No.
anymore?
No.
Richard Lefrak, I'm sorry, Richard Lefrak just called. He just had me have a chance. He had an idea for you.
Okay. So we got served from the New York Times. I told you this regarding to unseal the divorce papers with Ivana. We're fighting it. Kaslowitz is going to
Never be able to get that done.
never. Kaslowitz says they'll ever be able. They don't have a.
Give me your card, please.
They don't have a legitimate purpose.
And you
So
have a woman that doesn't want to unseal.
correct.
So you've been handling it.
Yes, and it's all
It's been going on for a while.
for about 2-3 weeks now.
All you have to do is delay it for.
Even after that, it's not going to ever be opened. There's no purpose for it. Told you about Charleston. I need to open up a company for the transfer of all of that info regarding our friend David. So that I'm going to do that right away. I've actually come up and I've spoken to Alan Weisselberg about how to set the whole thing up with
So what are we going to pay?
funding. Yes, and it's all the stuff.
thinking about that.
All the stuff, because you never know where that company, you never know where he's going to be.
Gets it by-
Correct. So I'm all over that, and I spoke to Alan about it. When it comes time for the financing, which will be
Listen, what financing?
we'll have to pay you. So
I'll pay for cash.
no. I got no.
Hey, Bill, how are you?
And there we have it. There's the big incriminating thing. Michael Cohen, the weasel, ratting out President Trump for what? This was over some allegations of an affair that the president allegedly had with a Playboy playmate named Karen McDougal. It gets lost in the shovel, but people are salivating and saying, oh, we've got him this time. Do they? Your thoughts next. First, traffic and weather together. KID.
Doofy.
And we start the morning, by the way. Hello to Annie. Appreciate her listening, and thank you for the nice message concerning the judge. Always appreciate people listening right here in the Treasure Valley. Let's go to Liberal Steve from Libville on KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Liberal Steve.
Well, at least it's the truth over here in Libville. It's amazing how many people want him not to be the bad guy that he is, but it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. Oh, let me give $12 billion in welfare to the farmers because of the stupid tariffs I put in place. Oh, Judge, libs and liars. I'll write a book with a real catchy title.
Maybe a coloring book.
Yeah, she's going to be in my book, Judges That Lie, with statistics and
What did she lie about?
She opened her mouth.
What do you mean she
Period.
opened her mouth?
She opened her mouth. Period. I know who this lady is, Miller. You're not going to sit there and con me. Like you try and do on all these people that you get on the phone that write all these stupid books that are, I call them bus stop books. Oh,
I love it. Liars, leakers, and libs.
Miller. Yeah. $12 billion in welfare. $12 billion. If that would have been Obama, oh my God, it's just so phony. And like Trump says, hey, if you did nothing wrong, you got nothing to worry about. And if you did do something wrong, keep throwing it back at him. Don't stop. Witch hunt, witch hunt, witch hunt.
He didn't do anything wrong.
Witch hunt, witch hunt, witch. Hey, Trump didn't do anything wrong.
Now, for people listening, hold on. For people listening right now,
give me his taxes.
at 580-5436, 580-KIDO, has Liberal Steve said anything worthy of any type of discussion? And I'm not attacking him personally, but I'm saying content. He hasn't made a point. He's just yelling
Trump's
insults.
Taxes? Have you insults? I'm just throwing truth. Have you seen Trump's taxes?
Truth.
The Russians have his taxes. Putin owns them. He's got them in his back pocket. See, America's not.
Based on what?
America don't buy
Based
it
on
anymore.
what?
Based on his.
Based on what?
Based on his coward and his treason against
According
the
to
United
you.
States of America.
According to
No,
you.
according to me.
Where
I'm
is
the
your
only
proof?
one that believes it.
Where's
The
your proof?
proof is in the pudding. The proof is in the
pudding?
You just listen to it.
This isn't the
Just
Cooking
listen to
Network.
it.
This is KIDO Talk Radio.
The proof is in the pudding. If you got, you keep throwing out all these little cracky, wise little cracks. they've wised up to him, Miller. The people that voted for him wised up and know they made a mistake. But you still have the Liberty Lindas that think he walks on water, and come on. And the Tea Party
unemployment is at a record low. People are more optimistic they've been since Ronald Reagan. And really, there's no defense for your statements. You make a lot of allegations. Obviously, your friends Bernie Sanders and the lady from New York City are emailing you the talking points, but that won't work with us.
Kevin, record low unemployment for the lowest wages in the history of the United States. And now Honda makes better cars than Ford with the Ridgeline pickup.
What's the number one seller of cars in America today? What's the most popular vehicle? The Ford F-150, buddy. Know your facts. Know your facts.
I didn't say it's not
Know your
popular.
facts.
I didn't say it's not popular. Ridgeline is the best built, period. Know your facts. And that's in the Alabama factory that employs 5,000 people, Americans.
Yeah, I know exactly where that is. That's right by the Talladega Speedway. All right, Liberal Steve.
Yeah. And unemployment is a joke.
Tell that to the people that are always looking for a job.
Yeah, exactly. And they're still looking. It just came out 2 weeks ago that the average millennium has got 3 jobs. 3 jobs. So, yeah, unemployment would be down because they got 3 jobs to try and make a living. And that's a fact, Miller. Don't try and cover it up. That's a fact.
So we've gone from Russia to unemployment. You're all over the place. You're all over the place today.
You're all over the place.
Well, that's what they paid me to do, Liberal Steve. God bless. Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Maggie.
Good morning.
All right, we've got a stacked and packed show. By the way, do want to thank Judge Janine Pirro for joining us. If you missed that, you can go to KIDOTalkRadio.com around 10:30 today, and you can check out the podcast if you missed it, if you didn't wake up so early. You can catch the podcast of these shows anytime, thanks to Ray Amaya at KIDOTalkRadio.com. Phone numbers here, 580-5436. 580-KIDO. Let's go to the phones and your reaction. If you missed it, we'll play them for you again. The Trump tapes. That's right. Michael Cohen is having this inaudible conversation with the president concerning Karen McDougal, Karen something or other. And the allegation is, they paid off the National Enquirer, right? What will they do next? Hank, good morning. You're on KIDO Talk Radio.
Well, the sound quality of those tapes isn't the best. I don't see anything, particularly incriminating in all this. It isn't like he says outright that I had a direct affair with this woman. But getting to my main point, if you can make an analogy to the late 1990s under 1987, 98, 99, we had a period of
Hank, we're going to put you on hold, and hopefully your phone will get a little better. Let's go to Cindy in Caldwell at KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Cindy.
Hey, Kevin, you are every reason to set my alarm clock. Every morning, last day I woke up and I got to hear if that judge is going to be on the first one. So bless God for alarm clocks and bless God for you. You want to know what? Seriously now, I mean, I almost want to get sick even when I hear the voice of Mr. Cohen. And, there is nothing about him that has any amount of valor, integrity, honor, and I would go up against anything that even Steve would have to say to defend him, only because he has the mindset of those that are so unable to understand. And I'm going to give you a biblical thing there, Steve, because I can tell you my credentials, which teaching in a Christian school, I have an undergraduate in sociology, political science, master's as a teacher. So listen here, Mr. Steve, biblically speaking, a long time ago, if just like another congresswoman we had here, God forgave that woman, and you know what? You have every evangelical on their knees out here. He is on a prayer watch, a prayer list, forgiving that man. And you know what? It's not us. It's God. Look at King David in the Bible. He actually, I'm so sick of what they see as the moral high ground when they are, according to Scripture, biblical scripture, right and wrong, from Genesis to the Revelation, the party on the left is about as amoral. There's nothing more of amorality that they could pump out there. And so do I expect them to continue with their Gatling gun? Because I also know spiritual warfare. You go on the mission field, Steve, and you got to know who you're really fighting, and it really, in some parts, is a spiritual battle. So actually, I was so glad that judges, they're liars. And who is the father of all lies? Satan. That leak, where in a biblical mandate would it ever tell you if that's how people send their kids to Catholic schools, they send their kids to Christian schools? Where do you ever have them act out their what their values and their norms or standards are by all this? Actually, it's just sheer hatred, and where does that come from? So it's not because of liberal Linda. There are facts out there. This president has done just what he said he would do. He's trying to keep my grandchildren safe by keeping this country sovereign. He is he is pro-life. What's with you, Steve, that you don't understand that God is sick of the blood that cries out from Planned Parenthood and every other place when you say and you don't acknowledge the fact? Go watch an ultrasound. Hey, Steve, this morning, go turn on. You're such a coward. You won't even come down to independent shooting. And I wanted to show you what I'm going to wrestle with you with shutting my mouth and showing you a bunch of pictures, which I can't do on the radio, Steve. So you said you're
ready to wrestle liberal Steve?
I am ready to take that man on. I am so sick of, I love listening to the judge, but when he comes on, and I'm sorry, in all the sense of you, there's nothing that he says that is grounded in fact, and it's sickening, and he really is seditious because he used the word against our president again. Go move them, Steve, to Venezuela. How about Cuba? How about, you think it's so great in these other countries?
Right, he's a big talker. He's a big talker, Cindy. God bless. Phone number is 580-5436, 580-KIDO. And I received a personal email last night by the gentleman by the name of Scott. I believe it was a Facebook message, and for some reason, I seem to have lost it. And, Scott, if you're listening, and I'm going to give a few more shout-outs, please send me another Facebook message on that. Of course, I think I can look at something else, but a very important message. Phone number's here, 580-5436, 580-KIDO. So we're talking about these tapes, whether or not you believe that Cohen is credible. Look, and I know I have a lot of, do you have people that, because Idaho is a one-party consent, tape people? Maybe because I'm overly worried about liability and litigation. Who tapes people anyway? And who plays these tapes? You certainly put someone at a disadvantage. Maybe it goes back to the day of three-way calling. Remember three-way calling? And did you ever do this where, Rebecca likes you? Oh, really? Well, you'd have one of your friends call Rebecca and you'd be listening on the line. And, people do that today kind of in radio and such, and their bits and such. But you remember listening, or when someone would be talking and they badmouth and you jump on right away? That's what this seems like, and we're all voyeurs in this. Boy, you talk about scary stuff in texting. Look at how embarrassing Peter Strzok's whole thing was. The idea of personal messages becoming impersonal, right? Let's get more of your phone calls here at 580-5436, 580-KIDO. We go to Pete in Mountain Home. Pete, good morning. You're on KIDO Talk Radio with Kevin Miller.
Good morning, Kevin. I'm calling for a little sympathy for liberal Steve. After all, it's clear that he's having the same problem that Whoopi Goldberg had. He's suffering from really severe Trump derangement syndrome. And this is a medical condition that I am sure a mental health professional might be able to help him with. Maybe some tranquilizer or something like that. But we really, you listen to liberal Steve, and the incoherence and the ad hominem attacks and the just the general outrage, really, we should be sympathetic towards that. And then the other thing that I'd like to say about the Cohen tapes to liberal Steve and other sufferers from TDS, I don't actually care what Donald Trump did before he was elected. He was not in public office then. It's what he's doing now as president that's important to me. And he's not lying about keeping your doctor and keeping your health care provider, and he's not lying about selling 20% of our uranium reserves to Russia, like Hillary did. And let's see, he's not lying about letting one of our ambassadors get killed in Benghazi. All of which the last administration, including Hillary and Obama, did. So, you know, I look at what Trump has done. His Supreme Court appointments are great. What he's doing for the economy is incredible. And the fact that we are finally going to have a president in there that wants to put us on a relatively even basis with our trading partners all over the world, I think that's great. And going back to Liberal Steve, I would suggest, you know, maybe we should take up a GoFundMe account to get him some psychiatric help. What do you think?
I like shock therapy.
Ooh, yeah. But did you watch the Whoopi Goldberg meltdown with the judge?
I did, yes.
Yeah, Liberal Steve sounded like he got the script from her.
Well, they'd make a heck of a pair, Whoopi Goldberg and Liberal Steve.
Oh, my God. There's a nightmare.
Indeed.
Anyway, thank you for providing conservative America a place to be heard, especially and it's good. It's good. It really is good. People who want to ban Liberal Steve, they're wrong. It's good to hear the other side, just so you know who you're dealing with.
I give it to him as opposed to the other libs that just want to silence us. At least he has enough guts to come on.
Yeah, he does. He's getting a little frothy at the mouth there last time, but he might want to try taking a tranquilizer before he calls. Maybe it would help some. Anyway, that's all I had, Kevin.
All right. Take care, Pete. See you later.
See you.
Security Guard Mike joins us now at KIDO Talk Radio with Kevin Miller. Hello, Security Guard Mike.
Hey, wonderful Kevin Miller, and I just want to give a shout out to that Pete guy from Mountain Home. I want to give an amen to that. I agree with what he just said. Freedom of speech, that's great. Everyone has the opportunity to, especially on your show, to come out and say what they got to say. As far as Judge Janine, her book is awesome. I think it's hitting on all cylinders. And as far as that Cohen guy, I want to see a receipt. A tape is a tape. I mean, they could be doctored up or whatever. How do we know it's not doctored up, spliced, video edited or audio edited or whatever? You guys know all about that in the radio business, how people can just take a little word here and a little word there and mix them all together and make it sound like you said something. And plus, what Donald Trump did when he was a Democrat, that's neither here nor there. Now he's a Republican. You can repent. Everyone can repent. And come on over to the good side. All right. And Kevin Miller, your show is awesome. I love you, and you're the best guy in the whole world. And Idaho, you're awesome people. You guys all take care and have a wonderful day.
We love you, Security Guard Mike. Take care.
Love you too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Back to Hank. Hank will do a do-over here at KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning.
Okay, I'm out of the area that's kind of bad. 1998, the economy was expanding in the middle of the second half of Clinton's second term, and this had an effect if people did not want to listen to about what was going on in Whitewater or Monica Lewinsky and anything else. I think the same effect is going on with Donald Trump. As long as the economy is going good, it's the same thing if you were going back as far back as the Grant administration. The scandals did not affect Grant's popularity until the panic of 1873. People don't pay attention to this stuff until the economy goes bad, and so and by the media harping on it all the time, people tend to even more shut it out even more. So I think that the effect of it is, I don't think that it's going to affect him as far as his main supporters are concerned. And the fact that his polls have upticked all during this time to his highest point right now shows that the barrage is totally backfired on the mainstream media.
Well, and they're cheering for his demise. That's what they're trying to do.
Yeah, the intensity of the hate makes them, when you start hating an opponent, you're less effective because you don't reason. In other words, if you're dealing with an adversary, you have to keep your emotions under control in order to come up with an effective strategy. And when the mainstream press is reacting emotionally, where they're flaying at him, they're less effective. Of course, that's what we hope that it will be, less effective. And this is the kind of a lesson that they're not going to learn, because they're not going to learn it in their arrogance and in their hubris in this whole matter. So that's my point.
Hank, thank you for the call.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. 580-5436, 580-KIDO. If you haven't heard the Cohen tapes, we'll share those with you. Plus, review and commentary on Judge Jeanine joining us this morning. You're listening to Kevin Miller on 107.5 FM, 580 AM, KIDO Talk Radio. Blessed to be a part of your day. Kevin Miller in the morning. We have some sad news, and I want to thank Scott for sending me this message. When you have and maybe you have this, you have multiple pages on Facebook. You don't know which message you get, whether it's on the Kevin Miller Show page, KIDO Talk Radio page, Fat to Back page. Well, you know what I'm saying. Just a lot of pages. So I received a message last night and this morning from a gentleman by the name of Scott, who listens to the program, with some tough news. Hi, Kevin. Wanted to let you know, you and your listeners know, that my dad, Common Sense Ken, passed away May 14th of natural causes at the age of 82. He got me started listening to your show, and now I tune in daily. He served in the Air Force and was a true patriot. He was involved with the Boise Tea Party and a Trump supporter. Most of all, he was a great dad. God bless. Feel free to share this info with your listeners. Well, Scott, thank you, and we're sorry for your loss, and we'll miss Common Sense Ken and the community that he was such a part of. We take for granted each and every day, and it's become cliche-ish to appreciate what we have. But it's folks like Common Sense Ken, Pete, Hank, Liberty Linda, Cindy, Tea Party Bob, and others that make this such a special community. It's so unique, and I really do mean, and you have others that try and mimic what we do, and God bless them. I really try to make it the sum is greater than the individual parts. You know what I'm trying to say? And it's very rare when you can have a group, and we keep hoping to expand the group, to continue this on for many, many years. And we're humbled that a veteran of the Air Force, a true patriot, would take time to call in and contribute. Now, there are many shows that you have where they have very talented hosts, and I've run those offenses before, and you hear what the host has to say. I really love hearing what you have to say and having the interaction back and forth the days before social media. Really, all social media is mimicking spoken word communication. People text back and forth and, a Twitter feud. I'd rather have an in-depth discussion or disagreement than texting back and forth. But that's my own personal thing. So, Common Sense Kid, God bless you. Rest in peace in heaven. Scott, God bless you and your family. We're sorry for your loss, and we're humbled that you give us the time of day, brother. Thank you.